Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today for our Capture, Connect, and Convert with Digital and Social Advertising webinar. My name is Meredith Marshall. I'm the marketing coordinator here at Blue Tent, and I'm sitting with Maria, who's our digital advertising manager, and Reagan, our social marketing manager. And they're going to be diving in shortly to this awesome webinar I'm really excited about. And just a little background on our webinars. I see some familiar names on the list today, so you bet you've maybe joined us in the past. But we host these monthly, and we kind of cover every digital topic you can think of. And if you guys ever have any suggestions, feel free to reach out if there's something you want to hear about. We love hearing that from you, and would love to cover any other topics. And so here's a little overview of what we're going to get into today. We're going to talk about the pillars of digital and social advertising, and then we're going to dive in deeper to look at the different types of digital and social advertising. And again, just about the webinar, on your go-to dashboard, you're able to ask questions, so feel free to reach out with anything you want to ask or are curious about. No one's going to see it. You're completely anonymous, so you'll just pop up on my computer here, and I'll be able to bring them up if they're something we can cover now. Otherwise, if it works better, we can set a time to chat once the webinar closes and address anything that you guys have then. All right, so we'll just kind of get into it. The 4 pillars of digital and social advertising. These are just things to always keep in mind with any of your advertising needs and your online strategy. Even if it's just specific channels or specific campaigns you're running. So just always think about these. And this is something an account manager here at Blue Tent can help with to help strategize and kind of branch out on different options. The first one is your audience. So you need to know who they are and then when and where to find them online. So what channels they're going to be on, what time of day they're going to be on those channels, things like that. The next thing is goals. So what you would like to achieve. Is it brand awareness, content engagement, lead generation, online transactions, anything like that. It could be all of those things, or it could be one of the, we want to gain brand awareness on social media specifically. Maybe there's different areas of your strategy that need a little more love, and your goals are going to be different per strategy, per channel. The next one is tracking. So obviously, this is a really important aspect because if you don't track, you're not going to know what's working and what you need to do in the future. So kind of figuring out a way you want to measure your success. That's, different things, Google Analytics and tracking your online revenue, stuff like that. And we'll dive into these too as we go through the presentation. And then the final one, budget and resources. So obviously, this is how much time you have and the money you have to spend. And who you're going to get to do all this work for you, if it's someone on your team or someone at Blue Tent that you're already working with, things like that. So those are just all the different aspects to consider when moving into your strategy. And the next slide, we're going to talk about types of digital advertising, and this Maria is going to take over.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Meredith, for giving us a brief overview in the beginning. When we talk about digital advertising, very often people refer to it as just one part of it. And getting into the different types of digital advertising, I want us only to be aware that there is no good or bad or better or worse. It really depends on what your goals are, what your objectives are. And once you go over your audience's budget, time, and goals and tracking, then you can decide which type of digital advertising is best for you in that specific situation to use. So having said that, moving into text ads, and we have a funny headline here. It's more than just a headline and some copy. You see the text ads when you actually search for something on Google. And the first 2 or 3 listings on top are usually ads. And I will show you an example in just a second, or I can just get to the example. That would be an example of a well-written text ad with all the elements. And why I say it's not only headline and some copy, you can see here it has a headline, it has a promotion, it has an URL, it has rating, and then it has an explanation, and it has a lot of links. So I'll get to that in a little bit, but that is how a well-managed, well-optimized, and well-developed text ad campaign should look like. And that gives your visitors and the people who search for your services an opportunity to actually see a lot more about you than just I'm this and that vacation rental and we offer rooms or condos or villas in this and that area of the country. So let's speak about why text ads are so important. They're usually the first step that people the first step of how people connect with your brand. So they look for a service, or they look for a location, or they look for a product. They type in keywords in Google search or Bing, and they're usually in a specific location. So we target your future site visitors by keywords of what they're searching for, by location of where they are or where they're interested to go. And then we provide them with additional information based on the extensions that we add. So they can be site links, they can be call-outs, snippets, they can be a call-only number for mobile, or if you have reviews or location information, we can add that too. And saying that, now when we go back to the example, you can see on top the headline. Then you can see the enhanced URL with, Paris_holidays or Paris/top hotels. This is something we set up actually on the back end of your ad, and that provides more information to the end user of what this ad is about. So is it about a holiday that they want to take in Paris, or is it about a hotel that they want to visit? You can see the URL, you can see that it has ratings. Those ratings are actually not set up in AdWords, they are set up in Google Location Manager, Business Location Manager, and that is why we always say that it's so important to do SEO in addition to SEM, and SEM is the paid advertising part of it. But they work together when we pull out a listing or when you have a review. If we would like to add a review, such as, on the bottom where you see ratings, that only can be done if your property actually has ratings already and we can verify them with Google. The things you see in the middle are call-outs, and the things you see on the bottom in blue are actually site link extensions. And if you use those extensions, we can send people to the correct part of the website. So maybe you have vacation rentals, maybe you have private villas, maybe you have condo complexes, and you want to promote them separately. That is where you would put them, and we can send visitors that direction. Adding all those elements to a text ad, you may see it as, okay, it's not that important to me, I don't need it, but that actually increases your quality score and allows Google to rank you higher when you're bidding for that specific keyword that your future visitor is searching for. Any questions so far?
I don't think so.
All right, then moving along into display banner ads. They're brand building, eye-catching, they can be static, rich media, or video ads. They're very engaging. And also, they're really good for building brand awareness if you have a new website or you're a new brand or something has changed, as well as if you have a specific promotion. So if you have 20% off during a specific time period, or book in spring and receive 15% off, or receive an extra night, it has worked really well for our clients to do it with display banner ads. So here, a little bit of a joke, the old but golden static banners versus the new kids on the block, the rich media formats. Speaking about static banner ads, they still work well, going back to the goals, going back to the budget and to your audience, depending on who you're talking to and who you want to attract. They're simple banners, they include text and a visual. I'll show you an example in a second. They create brand awareness, and they require fewer resources to put together. So if you're just doing receive a 7th night free when you book 6, or book 3 nights in a row and get something in return, or 15% off during a specific time period, I would definitely recommend static banners. They would be more cost-effective on our end to develop, as well as easier for you to think about and figure out what you would like to say. When we're speaking about rich media formats, they can be the new format GIF, HTML5, or video ads. And depending which format you choose, there is a different degree of engagement in terms of how much resources and time you need to develop them. They're more interactive, they're more engaging, and they usually elicit an action and connect with your target audience. They usually play automatically, so your target audience will see either an animation or a 15-second video, depending on what you have. And if you have been following the latest social media developments, you would know that both Facebook and Instagram, and Reagan will touch upon that later, use now heavily video. So when we have video assets available and we have the time and resources to develop those ads, we highly recommend them. Now, last but not least, what are those strange native ads that recently have been popping up, and a lot of our clients ask us about them, and they usually call them ugly, which I agree with. They're Google generated banner ads where we have limited control over the design. They're highly effective because people see them as real content and they click on them. It's also a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy because we say they're highly effective, but people mistake them for actually true content. So the only way I would review effectiveness of native ads is based on conversions. So if they actually convert and purchase online, then I would consider them effective. If they just click on them, I would always wonder, are they just making a mistake and not knowing what they're clicking at? And a tip here, we recommend for our clients to develop a creative mix that blends all the approaches. So text ads, display ads, and remarketing ads. And I will get to retargeting in a second. How would you target your ideal audience with display ads? You can again do keywords based on what people search for or what keywords are present on the sites. You can do placements where you choose what types of sites to include. Again, here I need to focus on types. You can't choose your specific sites, but you can choose the types. You also choose what sites to exclude, where we usually recommend political, religious, and adult content to be excluded. You can choose the interests, affinity, or topics that are relevant to your brand and to your market. And then you can block keywords, topics, or URLs. So you have a lot of control, but you don't have very specific control with display banner ads. And then let me show you a few examples here. So the first one that you see on the very left is a static banner ad. The two that you see on top that are somewhat square are dynamic ads, and you can see the images changing and the text changing. And the one on the bottom that looks ugly, as we say, is a native ad generated by Google. So here we control what the text is, what the logo is, and what the image is, but we can't control the design of it. We also can't control which of those three variations shows where. Google decides that for us. And the first banner that I showed, the static banner, could be really good for a promotion because you can see that, we can say 4 seasons fun or 10% off or book during the week and save. The ones on top create brand awareness because we can show a lot more content in them. We can show different properties. We can show features in your properties. We can show your logo. We keep your brand colors and font types. And the ones on the bottom are, if you don't have right now the budget and the resources to put together proper banner ads, we can enable native ads on Google quite quickly. Questions, Meredith?
Not quite.
All right.
There's a couple, but I'll let you know.
All right.
This one was where do native ads usually show up? And that's usually Google. Is that thing Google decides usually?
We work with the Google Content Network and search partners, and that is a number of sites out there that Google controls, and they show up exactly in the same location where the normal banner ads would show up. So it's not like they have a specific place for them. That's why they have different formats. Based on what's unavailable and what your bid gets you in that specific point, you may show as a horizontal ad, as a vertical ad, as a square ad. Certain sites don't allow images, so that's where the text-only ad, so if we go back, the text-only, which is in the bottom hand corner of this slide, that's where it would show if they don't allow images. And then if it's a site that looks like a blog, maybe the left native ad would show.
Cool.
So same place, it's just a different format. And then going into retargeting ads. So we hear very often retargeting and remarketing, and people get confused of what each term means. They can be used interchangeably on Google, and it happens quite often. But if we were to be exact of what retargeting is, it's going after the same visitor in the same channel that they visited with a different ad medium or ad message. Remarketing, I would say, is if you searched for us and visited our website and subscribed for our newsletter, and then we come back with an email. So remarketing is using a different channel. If you're only using your online, that would be retargeting. Again, you will hear both terms. Even on Google, they sometimes say remarketing, sometimes say retargeting, so they don't even know. But again, it means remind past visitors to engage with your brand. So somebody who has been on your site, we have placed on a cookie. The cookie has collected their IP address, and we follow them around. We often hear from our clients, well, I go to the site, and then when I go back on my mobile phone, I don't see the ads anymore. That is because it's by IP address, and your mobile IP address is not connected to your desktop or laptop IP address. But that is why it can get extremely annoying. And I will speak about frequency and capping in a second. So what could go under retargeting ads? What could we classify under retargeting ads? They can be dynamic display retargeting, and that is again something that is generated by Google. Or they can be banner ads retargeting. And for banner ads retargeting, we will just use those ads to retarget to your current site visitors. For dynamic display retargeting, they require a product/property feed from your website. So in our case, we can only do them if our clients have developed their website with Blue Tent. We have a number of clients who don't have websites with Blue Tent, and then we use the rich media banner ads to do their retargeting. It looks like a shopping feed where you have images of the product or the property, starting range for the price, and then you also have how many bedrooms or bathrooms. And then Google generates, based on that feed that we upload into Google, it dynamically generates an ad, and it is what the visitors saw. So when somebody goes to your website, they not only get an ad about your brand, but about the exact property that they saw on your website for the exact time period that they saw it with, how many bedrooms and bathrooms, what is the starting price range. And if they click on that ad, they're sent again to that exact property. And that sometimes we call it, do Big Brother the right way, basically. It can look really sneaky. How did you get that information about me? How do you know what I looked at? Well, it's all based on data in your IP address. Nobody's actually spying on anyone. And they're also viewed as ugly, and I will show you how they look like in a second. They're very effective because they're very targeted. In this case, it's not because they appear as organic content, it's because of the targeting. Now, the banner ads retargeting, you can choose again static or rich media format for smaller clients, and smaller budgets we recommend static, and then rich media can be very effective if you have the time and budget to develop it. They're based on website product audience and needs, so we can do different ones depending on what we need. For example, just speaking about vacation rentals as well as signing up new owners, we usually do two different types of banner ads with two different messages and images, and then we retarget based on where people landed. So if they went to the ownership page, maybe they have a property that they want to list with you, and then we'll follow them with ownership ads. If they go to a vacation rental, they probably want to become future customers, and we'll go after them with property ads. And they can be tested depending on the interaction. So depending on what people did on the website, we can test them. We can also stop them. So usually if it's not a vacation rental ad, if it's a property ownership, or if it's one of our adventure clients, if somebody converts on the website, we stop showing them the ads because their goal is complete. So the goal was to bring them back and to convert, so the goal is complete.
And we actually have
Yeah.
another, sorry to interrupt,
No problem.
another good question about like when you do a video ad for one of those.
Yes.
Is there an optimal length for something like that?
So I would always recommend, based on my past long time ago experience in TV advertising, I would always recommend keep it less than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Less than 15 is hard to do because you want to say too much in too little time.
Yeah.
So I would say 15 seconds. And then depending on the channel, certain channels bill by click and certain channels bill by time viewed. But if they bill by time viewed, they never bill for less than 15-second increments. So they bill by engagement.
Okay.
So I would say definitely between 15 and 30 seconds if you have the video footage, and we can help with the ad development.
Cool. And then if, since we can't control, someone's internet connection and they might have a really poor one, does that ever cause concern for doing video ads, like a slow load time and the impatient person trying to watch it?
I would say, when I was a young pup in my career 10 years ago, and I was working in Europe, that was a concern, and that's why we didn't do that many video ads. Nowadays, I wouldn't say that is a concern, mostly because people have good connection, and those ads don't take much more time to load than a regular HTML5 or GIF ad. However, a long time ago, again, 2 or 3 years ago, not that long time ago, we used to do Flash ads, and now those got stopped, and it was for security issues. And they still run on other browsers, but the Google browser doesn't support them, so we don't do them anymore.
Cool. Great. And I think it's always tracking and testing too, like if it seems to be working and people are clicking and watching it and getting a good response.
We always want to know what our client goal is when they develop an ad or a campaign, and if their goal is for the user to watch the content, and that sometimes applies more to social media where we work off engagement versus digital advertising. That's why we sometimes call it cost per click, because we want people to click. The question is, when they click, where are they going to land? So if they land on a landing page that doesn't have video, and we've done an elaborate video ad and they land on a landing page with just property listings, why did we do that? There is no continuity in messaging, so we always want for them to land on a page that mirrors the experience of the ad.
For sure. That's great. Thanks.
All right, moving into tracking. Do Big Brother the right way, as I spoke already. Have you done your homework in Google Analytics? And what does that mean? You would have to add tracking pixels to identify your current site visitors and to follow them around afterwards. And also you would have to record the conversion data and exclude the converting visitors if that goal applies to you. So if those two things are not done before we start the display banner ad, I actually wouldn't even start it, to tell you the truth, unless the client asks specifically for us to start it without having the goals established. And we have had such cases. We just need to be very careful of how we track and what we consider a successful campaign. If all those things are enabled, we can see very well, are conversions coming? Is online revenue coming our way? Are people engaging with the site? Are they staying on the site? What is their user path in Google Analytics once they come to the site? So for example, did they first come with a PPC ad, which is a text ad, pay-per-click as they call it? Then they came to the site, then they found out about the site, they came back direct, so they typed in the URL, they watched content, and eventually they went through organic search and they converted. And we can see that on the back end, and we report on it, and we can track where did the conversion start and where did it end. And that's why both your organic listing, your SEO, as well as your digital advertising are important and are just part of your campaign and your online success. Let me show you some examples. So the first example would be a professional property manager. This is for acquiring new owners in the off-season. So sometimes depends on seasonality, and I know there is a webinar coming down the road about seasonality and what to do in your off-season on different online channels. But if you're, let's say you're a winter resort and during the summer you would like to gain new owners for the new season, then you can do a ownership campaign with retargeting or just with display and show this type of ad to future owners. The next two are the dynamic display ads that I mentioned that Google generates based on property feed that our ResFusion sites send to Google. And you can see that this is actually the specific property. So it pulls an image, it pulls the name of the property, the location, the price from per night, and then how many bedrooms and bathrooms it sleeps. However, we control the copy, the logo, and the images, but we don't control the design. And that is where we get sometimes concerns. This looks really ugly. We don't like this. Can we do something about it? If it converts, we don't need to do anything about it. If it doesn't convert, then maybe we can revisit it and do something that's more on brand. So I'm expecting that we'll probably have quite a lot of questions here since this is something new. And I want to show you, in the corner of the white ads, there is a blue triangle. When you see that blue triangle, it means that's a native or dynamically generated Google ad. It's a very small top right-hand corner triangle. I'll go back to the native ads to show you that triangle again. And it's again in the bottom ad, there is a small, tiny little blue triangle. I just want our listeners to be educated that every time you see that, that's a Google generated ad.
And for display ads, is there a way, they're kind of all over the page on the top, the sides, the bottoms. Yes. Is there a way to get them right on the top forefront on the page?
You can request that, and you can set it in your campaign settings. It may be more expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
So if we were to have a client who wants brand awareness and wants their ads to only show in the header banner on top, we can do that. We can only develop horizontal ads, only show them there. I can't promise what the frequency would be, since it's again based on real-time bidding. And if somebody outbids them, they won't have the chance to show a square ad on the site. But yes, that is an option.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
They're very targeted. There is a lot of opportunity for editing the campaign and optimizing the campaign and doing what the client requests. And if we have certain clients that only want to show in the top 1 position on the first page of Google, we can do that. It's going to be more expensive, but we can only bid for that. And if you get outbid, then you just don't show.
Cool. Great.
Any other questions on retargeting before I pass the baton or the keyword?
I don't think yet.
All right. Well, we can always come back to that if somebody thinks of it. And one last thing to say about display banner ads, we can cap frequency and reach. So if you have seen our ad 5 times in a day, we'll stop showing you the ad. And also, we always look for 3 elements to be on the ad: the logo, an image, a headline, and a call to action button. So when we develop them, those 3 always need to be on the ad, on every single frame of the ad, or while the animation is playing or while the video is playing. We always need that, because people may see the ad for 5 seconds and it may be a 15-second ad, and we want them to know what they're looking at and how to act.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Great, thanks, Maria. So next we're going to talk about social ads. Social ads are relatively new and they're a little bit unique. So I want to walk through exactly what each platform is best suited for, what your goals should be on each platform, and how you can integrate social ads into your digital advertising strategy. Our belief is that you should be integrating all of these things and active with your advertising on all channels. So social ads are just another great way to reach your audience where they are. So I get really excited talking about social ads because I think they're really unique and they give you a unique opportunity that you don't have on other channels. Social media is a place where users go to stay in touch with their loved ones, to find inspiration, and to plan, their travel plans in the future. So by being a part of that community and entering that space, you're creating an emotional connection with your users as a brand. So it's really special that way. You can't really achieve that with email marketing or print ads or any other type of advertising. So it's a little bit special in that way, and because of that, there are different ways that you should use the platform to achieve your goals. So if you've seen our past webinars, you've seen these 5 bullet points before. These are the 5 things that we think social ads offer to brands. So brand awareness, relationship building, lead generation, customer service, and customer insights. So those are 5 things that social ads offer to brands. There's that saying, meet your customers where they are in terms of marketing. This is where your customers are. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on Pinterest, they're on social media. 1 out of every 5 page views in the US happens on Facebook. and 1 out of every 5 minutes on mobile is spent on Instagram. So people are spending a lot of time on social media, and they're giving social media a lot of their attention. So if your brand isn't active on social media and you're not taking advantage of all of those users, you're not keeping up with your competitors, to be honest. So we think being active on social media is just essential. So to dive in, we're going to start with Facebook. So Facebook, as you probably know, is the most popular social media network. It has the most active users. I think the number most recently was 1.6 billion monthly active users in 2016, and it's continuing to grow every month. So Facebook is the king of social advertising, and because of that huge audience, you can reach all age ranges, people from every demographic. Everyone is on Facebook. And because of that, it has really powerful targeting capabilities and one of the highest conversion rates for social ads. Facebook, they collect a lot of information about you and what your preferences are, what your interests are, and you can use those demographics that they collect to target users with social ads. It's really interesting to create a social ad in Facebook because of all those unique targeting capabilities. It's really fun to see all those options. You can do everything from targeting by demographics to targeting an email list to retargeting your website visitors, as Maria mentioned earlier, and targeting your Facebook fans. There are all kinds of things that you can be doing. So it's just really powerful. I'll show you a few examples of Facebook ads if you're not familiar with what they actually look like. These are 2 examples from our clients. The one on the left is from Walker Luxury Vacation Rentals. They're in Austin, Texas, and a lot of their bookings happen around events. So major events happen in Austin all the time, like South by Southwest, Austin City Limits, lots of events go on. So we created this ad to kind of focus on driving traffic for that specific event. Then on the right is Beaver Run Resort and Conference Center. They're located in Breckenridge, and we like to focus on their location, which is slopeside right next to the mountain, ski in, ski out, as well as all the different activities that they offer as a resort. So if you continue to scroll through these slides, you would see that they feature all the different activities they offer on site. This type of ad that we're looking at is called a carousel ad, and you might have seen these before. If you click that arrow on the side, you're taken through multiple different panels. So a lot of clients use this to feature multiple properties. You can use it to feature multiple activities or multiple photos from one property. There are lots of things you can do with it. It's pretty customizable. These are also carousel ads, and these focus on properties, and they're worded a little bit differently, so you can see all the different variations that you can make with Facebook carousel ads.
And do you recommend like a multiple photo, single photo, or video option for Facebook ads? Like one that would work best, or is it kind of client per client?
That's a good question. We see really great results with this format on the left, featuring multiple different properties rather than one property, because it gives users the option to see all the different things that you offer. And if they aren't interested in this super modern house here on the very first slide, if they keep scrolling, they might see something more colonial that they're interested in. So it just gives more variety, and I think people like that.
For sure, and it kind of like forces an engagement. Kind of like, what, I want to see that whole photo.
Right.
And
what
that house looks like.
I don't have an example in here of this, but a lot of new carousel ads feature, I don't know how to explain this. It's almost like one image spread across all of the different panels, so you can see, it kind of encourages you to move through the ad. I don't have an example of that, but.
Cool, that sounds cool.
This next ad format on Facebook is called a likes campaign. This is really effective for growing your following on your Facebook page. It's pretty simple. I think you're limited to about 90 characters of text, and then there's an image and a call to action button that says like page. So pretty quick. We typically target these at your current leads, people that are already familiar with your business, such as your email list or your website visitors, and it gives them a way to continue engaging with you off of your website through your Facebook page. This last example is of a lead ad, which is my new favorite. We've been trying to get all of our clients to do these because it's a great way to grow your email list. And email marketing has the highest ROI of most marketing channels. So it's really important to continue growing your email list. And this is just another way to continue doing that. So on the left side, this is what the ad looks like in your news feed. You'll see the text, an image, and then the call to action button is to subscribe. And then you're taken through a lead form. And it's very quick. You can include that first slide. These might be hard to see, but that first slide just gives you an overview of what you're doing, so subscribing to our newsletter. And then the second panel is the form where you add your contact information. And the nice thing about these lead ads is that your information is automatically populated, so you don't have to type anything in. It's just really quick and simple, and all you do is click submit.
Cool.
And then the last slide you'll be taken to is the view website link. And surprisingly, these ads get a lot of traffic to the website, almost more than newsletter conversions, which is great, as long as people are engaging. But we've seen our clients' email lists grow a lot through these lead ads. So if one of your goals is to grow your email list, lead ads are a really great way to do that. The next ad platform we're going to talk about is Instagram. Instagram just recently started offering ads as soon as they were bought by Facebook, and they are a really great way to generate brand awareness. Instagram has about 500 million monthly active users, so slightly smaller than Facebook. But it's unique because it's a place where users go to find inspiration and ideas and kind of imagine their ideal self on social media. People go there for everything from traveling to fitness to cooking. It's a really great place to inspire people. So on Instagram, there are also a few different ad formats. They all kind of look similar because Instagram is mobile only and pretty consistent in that way. So another iteration of that Walker Luxury ad is here on the left. And again, it's a carousel, so you can scroll through different photos of different properties. And then there's a call to action button that says book now, and you can change that call to action button. And then again, the Beaver Run ad is also on Instagram as well. And then on the far right, that ad is from the Home Ranch, and this is actually a video. This is just a still, but it's a video ad, and video gets really great engagement on Instagram, so we always encourage that. Video is kind of the direction that social advertising is moving in, so if you can be on the cutting edge of that and have really great video content, you are a step ahead of your competitors. So video ads are always a great way to go. So Instagram ads have traditionally seen lower conversion rates and lower click-through rates compared to other social ads and digital ads, but they are a really great brand awareness tool, especially for travel brands because of the way users use Instagram. So you might see lower conversions from Instagram initially, but it's a great way to drive brand awareness of your brand and to get people to interact with your Instagram page. So next I want to talk about Pinterest ads. I think a lot of people or a lot of clients don't know that Pinterest offers advertising. And Pinterest is, again, a place similar to Instagram where people go to find inspiration and to plan and to dream and plan their travel plans for the future. So it's actually a really great space for our clients and clients in the travel industry to be active and to be advertising. Pinterest is a search engine in its own right, so that's a little unique from the rest of these social platforms we're talking about. Most of Pinterest users are female. I think something like 70 to 65% are female, but it's a really broad age range, surprisingly. You'll have everyone from millennial women to retirees on Pinterest, and there are men on Pinterest as well. It's just a slightly smaller demographic.
And we actually had a couple questions about, kind of on Instagram, sorry about that, just jump back a little. I'm not sure if there is one yet, but is there any workaround to add Instagram posts from a computer rather than just from your phone? Like how it's kind of
That's a great question.
It is.
We've all wanted that. There hasn't been for a long time, and I just heard that Sprout Social which is a social media software program that allows you to schedule social media posts. They just released an option to schedule Instagram content from a desktop, I think. So there is one that I know of, but it's pretty new, so I don't know too much about it. But other than that, if you're not using a software like that, you can't schedule from a desktop and you can't schedule ahead of time, which is unfortunate. It's kind of a big blocker for a lot of our clients because you have to be able to post right when you want to post it. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure. That kind of answered the other question about wanting a single platform to use to post to multiple channels. And that's something like Sprout.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit more about that too. We used Sprout a year ago, and then we switched to Buffer. So those are the two platforms that we've used in the past. There are a lot of different options though, and I don't want to make a recommendation for anyone unless I talk about the specifics of what you guys need, but there are a lot of platforms. There's Buffer, Sprout, Hootsuite, Social Flow. There are tons of different options. They're all slightly different and they have different price points. So if you want to know more about that, I think that we should talk about it on a case-by-case basis and talk about what you specifically need. So if you have more questions about that, feel free to email me.
Sounds great, thanks.
Some of that also have free modules for personal use, and by personal use I mean one account. So again, depending on what our clients would need, we could recommend something that is very cost efficient for them.
Yeah, there are a few options that are pretty cheap, so there's always a solution. Any other questions about Instagram?
I don't think just yet. Thanks though.
Okay. So back to Pinterest. So Pinterest is a really great platform, and if you aren't active on it, it's some low-hanging fruit that you could tackle in the immediate future. It's a really great way to reach new users as well. So because it's a search engine, you have the ability to reach a lot of new users that have never heard of you before, aren't familiar with your brand, and drive that traffic to your website. We see really high rates of new users to our websites from Pinterest because of that. So we always recommend expanding there if that's something that you're not active on. So these are a few examples of Pinterest ads from our client on Emerald Isle. They have a really great blog and a lot of great content on that blog and really great activity pages on their website. So we wanted to find a way to drive traffic to those pages. And if you're familiar with Pinterest, you know that these kind of collages are really popular, and vertical images perform best on Pinterest because of the way that their content feeds in. It's vertical oriented. So we created these series of ads based on multiple different blog posts, and they have really great engagement rates. It drives a lot of new traffic to their website, and they get great conversions from these. They're all kind of slightly different, but they're all very eye-catching, which is essential on Pinterest. You want to make sure everything is easy to read, high-quality photography, vertically oriented, and if you can focus on blog content or activity pages, those perform best. Any questions about Pinterest?
I don't think so.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Okay, and for the sake of time, I'm going to run through the next two a little quickly. If you have a B2B portion of your business, if you, for example, are a conference center, like Beaver Run Resort and Conference Center, LinkedIn might be a great way for you to reach those users. It's a great way to generate B2B traffic to your website. And one con is that the cost per click is a little higher than Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest, but the value of each click is greater because of the really qualified nature of the users on LinkedIn. So if you have a B2B portion to your business, you might want to look into LinkedIn ads. I know that's pretty unique for our clients. So if you have more questions about that, you can feel free to reach out and we can talk more about LinkedIn. I know Maria has a lot of experience with LinkedIn ads too, so we have a good knowledge base to help with that. And then lastly, Twitter ads. Twitter is, it's not great. I don't think it's particularly well suited to small travel brands, but it is a really great place if you are able to be really active on Twitter, or if you can deliver a lot of real-time content, because Twitter is so it's so of the moment. You have to be delivering content that's relevant right now. You can't post. It's not evergreen the way that Pinterest or Instagram might be. So it's a little bit of an odd fit for most of our clients, but it is an opportunity. Twitter has really great conversion rates once they get to your website, but the sorry, but the amount of traffic you'll generate from Twitter is a little bit lower than Facebook and Instagram.
Great.
Yeah, so if you focus on events or you focus on a lot of real-time content, you might think about considering Twitter as well. Any questions about that?
No?
Okay. And then we just wanted to touch on one quick case study. This is also on our blog if you have seen it before. One of our clients, the Home Ranch, we worked with recently to really grow their audience. They have really great qualified leads and a lot of repeat visitors, but they wanted to expand that and grow their reach to new users. So through social media, we focused on growing that and targeting new demographics, and they had really great results from it. So we focused on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, and on those different on those different channels, we created multiple different segmented demographic audiences and targeted them kind of repeatedly with really great content. So we targeted them with a video ad, different Pinterest content about their blog content, and Instagram photos. Just on all channels, we were really engaging with them heavily. And from that, they increased their traffic from social media on 155% year over year. Their traffic from new leads increased 200% year over year, and their increase in reservation inquiries was 1,300% year over year. So they achieved that goal, and they're continuing to grow their social media presence and reaching those new demographics. So that is all I had to talk about with social ads specifically. Are there any other questions about?
No questions right now. And I apologize, we went a little over on time, but not too bad. There's just so much to talk about. So it's hard to fill it all in. But yeah, thanks for joining us. And again, thanks for all the questions. And yeah, just kind of a why choose Blue Tent. We're all travelers at heart here. We have a high passion for traveling and for helping our clients because we know the industry so well, and everyone's just very, very passionate here. So we're always willing to help anyone that needs it. And here's a little overview of our marketing services. You can I'll just kind of go quickly through it since we're over on time, but we'll send out a recording as well, so you'll be able to kind of go back through and read through anything. And here's a couple fun stats about our team. As you can see, we're passionate about traveling, so we visited 21 countries last year, 38 states. Our team members climbed 80 plus mountains, which is very impressive. We drink a lot of coffee, and we now have 50 employees, and we've been on Outside's Best Places to Work the past 5 years, hopefully 6 coming up. And also, just real quick, since we were talking about social media and all that, we're actually running our own little fun social media contest. If you have any of our gear, Blue Tent swag, if you just take a fun photo of you doing something, using it in any way, just tag us in your posts and add a hashtag inside the tent, and you could have a chance to win a Yeti cooler. And we have a couple prizes for the next for second and third place, and all the way to fifth.
Through fifth place.
Yeah, so enter.
Keep on tagging.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. Thanks for all the awesome questions, and thanks Maria and Reagan for your great information. You will all receive a little follow-up email with the recording, and there'll be another link in there to look at past webinars you may have missed, and then there's a little survey to take to let us know what you want to hear next time. So thanks again, and there's no other questions, so we'll let you enjoy your afternoon. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Guys.
We'll see you on the next webinar.